Hi everybody, welcome back to MD Fly Fishing. What a weekend it's been. Friday, I went out to my local water using a 2-fly setup, hooked into 15 fish in about 3.5 hours, landed 10 of them. Absolute epic, couldn't believe it. 30p a day to fish here. Anyway, went out to Pennine and using a fly that I've never used before here, I hooked into my biggest brown trout. When it came out the water and landed, what a splash. I knew I went for a fight because it ripped the line from my hand straight away. I was just here for the morning because I bumped into Bob again and about 4 or 5 other people. I had a good chat with them, but I did get decent brownie. I got a lovely blue at about £5 and I also got a cracking rainbow as well. One of each. How happy could you be? This is a little bit later on in the morning. I moved round under the tree and to get beneath the freshly stocked fish I decided to put on a beaded leech, intermediate line, cast it out, let it drop through the water. It was out there for about 15 seconds and a lovely rainbow took it. I had to watch my back cast here, that's why I'm looking around, because 1, there's a hill, and 2, beyond that there is a spotlight, and that is decorated with lots of flies, tippets and leaders that people have managed to catch. A lot of surface activity and people were catching on dry fly. In fact, one gentleman just across from me when I was talking to Bob must have hooked 4 or 5 fish in that time. I'd not brought any dry flies with me. I brought my popper hoppers, which really didn't work because the surface was too calm. I tried some CDCs. I got a lovely fish on a CDC, which is in the video. I tried my beaded spider. That was on a floating line, 14-foot leader. That wasn't on video because that was the first thing I used when I got there. But Bob, if you're watching, you can comment. Yes, it's true. He caught. But anyway, let's land this one. Interesting thing today when I was talking to Steve is this used to be a normal coarse fishery. And he was telling me that they've had tench of £7. They even have a £20 carp in here and quite a few perch up to £3 and £4. And these fish weren't caught when it was a coarse fishery. They were actually caught when it was pennine trout fishery. They fly out. £5. Alright, you can go. So that proved my leeches are still working. Anyway, I moved on to the long bank, as Johnny H calls it. Nice wind coming in from the right. I was on a floating line and I decided I'm going to put a couple of buzzers on. Put one dropper at about 10 foot, put the point fly at about 15. And I've done it before, where on a floating line, I've cast it out, I've just let the wind arc the line round, draw in the buzzers, but nothing. Nothing was interested. I tried various colours. I had the Vickers, the rednecks, all of them, drawing it back every so often, lifting the flies up in the water, but nothing was taking it. So I thought, right, time for a switch, intermediate line, and then I had an idea. It's been a long time since I've caught a brown trout here, and I actually caught that at depth in the summer, but I catch loads and loads of brown trout on bibios. I was on an intermediate line, so I thought, right, I'm going to try a bibio. Single bibio, 14 foot, let it drop down, draw it back, which proved so effective last Friday. I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised the fight it put up. So the main thing I did, got the line on the reel, made sure the drag was set so I could then use the rod to turn the fish to my advantage. If it was going to run, let it run. The reel will let line go out. This wasn't going to snap me. I wasn't going to let it happen. I was buzzing. I couldn't believe it. But then a little bit later on, I thought, no, it's a rainbow. But I was right the first time. It was a lovely brown. Is it? Ready out. Try and get its head up. Oh, I don't know. No, it's a rainbow. It's just that when it came up, I thought, this is a big one. Oh no, it is a brown. Bloody hell. Which would make sense because my brown trout love bibios. Come this way. Here we are, yeah. Ooh, that is a decent one, that. Oh, probably about 6. It's taking the fly right in as well. Come on, show me the bibio. Here we go. Bloody hell. One of the other flies I'd used today was a CDC. There was a gentleman a couple of weeks ago fishing one off to my left in George's Corner, and he was getting lots of hits. And again, when I fished this, I put it on a long leader, degreased the leader so it sits proudly on its own, nowhere near the end of the fly line. Fish were rising, or the newly stocked fish were rising. I just did it to see if they were going to be interested. One came up, nudged it, then it nudged it again. I was waiting for the line to straighten, but it didn't, so I gave it a couple of slow figure 8s, and then it took it. I was happy. New fly that I'd only tied 2 days prior, dropped me another nice fish. I've got a short handle net and a 14 foot leader, and trying to get the two to meet is my downfall sometimes. I've seen other guys, they'll net the fish at a rod length. Me, I'm stuck with trying to get it as close to the bank as possible. I can manipulate it in such a way sometimes that when the fish is on the surface and it's on its side, I'll give it that extra little bit of a pull to let it glide into the net without too much strain. But they are hard fighting fish here, and they're not going to come easy. This one went to my left, went to my right, tried to go out forward. Now I'm on an 8-pound fluorocarbon straight through. The line will take the shock if enough of it's out through the eyes. The only weak point sometimes I find is the knot to the fly, or that the fly has not really hooked itself into the fish. And then again, they are barbless hooks. If the fish can manipulate itself into a position, that hook is out. Can't be helped. It's fair on the fish. But this one wasn't to be. As it turned, tried to go deep, and it succeeded, and the fly came out. But I was happy that a little CDC emerger fly that I'd only tied 2 days prior got me a nice fish. I do have a gentleman that ties me all my CDCs. I ordered about 50 or 60 various colours, various plumages, whites, greys. It's really good. They're very time consuming, and sometimes you'll buy all the materials and you'll never tie another one after that, and you do it all in your drawer. I was limited in the number of flies that I'd brought with me. Don't bring a big massive bag with me anymore. Whatever I can fit in my pockets is what I fish, and I'll try and stick to what I plan on fishing. If it doesn't work out, I've got a little pouch and it's full of my orange beaded leeches because they never let me down. So let's get into the first one. So I'd caught fish on a bibio, I hooked into a nice fish on a CDC. I also caught another fish on a beaded spider. No joy with buzzers, no joy with the popper hoppers. The water was, as Steve said, was a little bit flat. I'd been up till 1 AM the previous night editing the Ryburn video, and I was still buzzing from that. So I literally came out today just to get out. I've had a long 7 weeks at work. I even took time out to have some lunch in the hut with Steve, having a natter about life, chatting to the guys that were there. Overall, I had an enjoyable day. Got myself 5 or 6 fish. I went out to enjoy it. I didn't put my side camera on half the time, and in some cases I didn't even have my head camera on. But I like to record what I do, what I get up to. In fact, one of the guys was telling me he was doing really well. He was catching a lot of fish, and as he came past he had a natter, and he went, I was only watching one of your videos last night. I thought, don't get the inspiration off me, mate. You're knocking us all out of the ballpark. We all capture it. I think he'd been in a competition as well only that week. But it is a good laugh when you go out. I keep saying I'm going to get down to the river. I just don't have chance at the moment, and when I do it's usually full of waders or people throwing sticks in for the dogs. I know we pay for a licence for the river, but we can't police it in such a way. In fact, even my local water, owned by Yorkshire Water, we rent it off them, but it still doesn't stop the wild swimmers, people coming out having a barbecue on the bank. That's why I like to go during school hours when they're all at home watching Trisha or whatever else is on television in the morning. But these leech flies still working well on an intermediate, letting it drop down, bringing it back, slow figure of 8. I had loads and loads of pulls by the fish. There's nothing like that feeling when suddenly it takes it, because some of them are vicious. And as I say, this is just me and my days out. So keep well, everybody. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for all the likes, thanks for all the dislikes, thanks for all the comments. I've had some strange comments just lately. If you don't like it, why are you watching a fishing video? Or do you go out on purpose just to try and upset people? Well, sorry mate, it's failed. You don't upset me. I'm going 2 hoots about what you think. So there's me, bitter me, eh? Right, catch everybody soon. Look after yourselves. Until later, this is just me and my days out. See you all soon. Come on.